Hello and welcome to Bunkered, the first sports programme to bring you coverage of the Irish Paintball League. Coming up today, the Barrage Cup, the final round of the IPL, kicks off with Escamouche versus Carnage. But before that, Chris Davitt will present a quick overview of the league so far.
I'm Chris Davitt, I play mid for the Reapers, and I'm here to take you through the first 4 events of the Irish Paintball League. The league kicked off on the 15th of March with the Leprechaun Cup. The weather was wet and rainy, with the Reapers reffing and therefore earning 100 points. The first game saw Carnage facing off against the Wildcards. Equipment trouble and 3 resulting penalties did not hamper Carnage from winning the first game. The next game saw Risk taking on Escamouche. Experience led Escamouche into the final against Carnage. Third place on the day went to Risk Factor, who played an exciting game against Wildcards. The finals saw Carnage facing off against Escamouche. Despite a good defensive effort, Carnage was still not able to hold off Escamouche, who went on to win the event. At the end of the first event, the Leprechaun Cup, we see at the top of the board shared with 100 points Reapers and Escamouche, 80 points for Carnage in second, 70 points for Risk in third, and Wildcards in fourth with 60 points. The Spring Cup, the second event of the Irish Paintball League, was held on April 20th. It was a cold day and Carnage reffed the event, earning them 100 points. The first game of the day saw Risk Factor playing Wildcards. Risk Factor went on to win this game, earning them a place in the afternoon finals. The next game saw Escamouche playing Reapers. A tense game with a 1-point difference saw Escamouche going to the finals. In the first of the final games, Reapers played the Wildcards, dominating over them and earning themselves the third place. The final saw a much improved Risk team playing off against their adversaries from the first day, Escamouche. However, this still was not good enough, and Escamouche went on to win the second title of the season. At the end of the second event, the Spring Cup, the season rankings are as follows. At the top of the board we have Escamouche with 200 points. Closely followed is Carnage with 180 points. In third place, Reapers with 170 points. Risk Factor are fourth with 150, and fifth are the Wildcards with 120 points. Day 3 of the IPL took place on May 17th. Excellent weather saw the Heatwave Cup living up to its name. Reffing duties on the day were picked up by Escamouche, who earned 100 points. The first game of the day saw Reapers playing Wildcards. The Reapers maxed out the Wildcards, earning themselves a place in the finals. Maxing out is when a team gains 5 points over the opposing team in under game time, ending the game early. The next game of the day saw Risk facing off against Carnage. A close game that led into extra time and sudden death saw Carnage proceeding into the final. The first final of the day saw Risk Factor facing off against the Wildcards. Redeeming themselves, Risk Factor made their way to third place. The final of the day saw Carnage playing the Reapers. A very close game, and a 1-point lead by the Reapers earned them the victory and the event title. At the end of Day 3, the Heatwave Cup, the rankings are as follows. Escamouche in the lead with 300 points, closely followed by the Reapers with 270 points, Carnage in third with 260 points, Risk following closely with 220 points in fourth, and the Wildcards last with 180 points. Day 4 of the IPL was held on the 22nd of June, the Solstice Cup. Refereeing on the day was Risk. Risk, however, did not send a full squad of referees, and so only received 67 of the possible 100 points for their refereeing duties. The first game of the day saw the Wildcards facing off against Escamouche. Putting on an outstanding performance, the Wildcards entered the finals for the first time. The second game of the day saw Reapers facing off against Carnage. A convincing win led the Reapers into the final. In the third place playoffs, Carnage redeemed themselves by defeating Escamouche. Despite making the finals for the first time, a convincing performance by the Wildcards was still not enough to defeat the Reapers. Day 4 of the IPL, the Solstice Cup, the season rankings are as follows. Reapers lead the board with 370 points, Escarmouche in second with 360 points, Carnage in a close third with 330 points, Risk in fourth with 287 points, and last, Wildcards with 260 points. This was Chris Davitt of the Reapers. I hope you enjoyed the final event of the Irish Paintball League, the Barrage Cup.
Hi, I'm Julian Mannion.
And I'm Owen Johnson.
And we'll be bringing you today's action from the Barrage Cup, the final event of the Irish Paintball League. Today's match is between Escarmouche and Carnage, but first let's look at the IPL rules.
Each match is played between two teams of 5 players. Their objective is to score points by capturing their opponent's flag and returning it to their own start point. Matches are 14 minutes long.
Capturing the flag is made considerably easier by eliminating opposing players. A player is eliminated when either they or any equipment they bring onto the field is struck by a paintball, which then breaks. A player is not eliminated if the paintball hits them and does not burst, or has bounced off something else before striking the player.
If a player is hit and does not leave the field immediately, they will be given a 1-for-1 penalty. This means the player is removed from the field and will also miss the following point.
Each game requires 6 referees, 3 on each side of the field, with 1 referee being appointed as head referee. The head referee controls the game clock and also has the final say in all decisions. Referees call a player out by placing one hand on their head and pointing at the player. A player is clean or is not being hit if the referee points at the player and moves their other hand in a circular motion.
During the games, you may hear some of the players naming certain bunkers on the field. For example, they call the back line, back center, back right, and back left. We also talk about the 50, which is the halfway line, and the 75, which is between these two lines.
Players also use terms to designate sides of the field. The snake side is the side of the field containing the lay-down bunkers, while the tape is the far side of the field. Bunkers have different names depending on their shapes, such as tombstones, moons, cans, and Doritos.
First, let's have a look at the players in today's game. For Escarmouche, we have in the backfield the captain Jim Shields, Dave McCauley. In the midfield, we have Alistair Montgomery, Matt Donnelly. Finally, in the front, we have Patrick Handley.
Carnage's backline consists of Chris Power, David Mulhall, and Kieran Lawler. Their midfielders are Robbie O'Dwyer and David Fox, with their captain Carl Brennan playing up front.
Welcome to the first game of the Barrage Cup, the last event in the IPL. And it's game on.
As we're watching Escarmouche versus Carnage here, as we see Montgomery of Escarmouche moving up to the 75 right tombstone.
Yes, this is Lawler of Carnage here in the corner shooting along the snake line. And it looks like Carnage may have lost a player there. I think that was Brennan, their captain.
That's Montgomery, still shooting across field.
Yes, here we see Dwyer. Oh, and we see they've lost another player. Carnage now down 2 players. Both players being lost from the tape side of the field. This is really going to give Escarmouche an advantage.
That's Power moving up to fill in for the lost players, but he seems to be being shot out in the move, as O'Dwyer takes a walk off the field as well. Carnage now left with 1 remaining player against Escarmouche's 5.
Yes, Lawler is going to be in for it soon. Escarmouche is going to move up the field, looking to shoot him, and there he goes, yes. That was an extremely fast point from Escarmouche there. They did extremely well there. Shooting 2 guys on the tape, taking advantage of it, moving up to kill the last 2 guys. They did very, very well there. It was an extremely fast point.
We're just watching Montgomery taking a leisurely stroll down the field to hang the flag.
Yes, and assuming everything's clean, that should be 1-0 to Escarmouche. Second point. Game on.
Yes, both teams choosing to spread across the field as we see Patterson moving up to the back centre for Escarmouche.
Yes, this is O'Dwyer from Carnage here. Both teams 5 alive at this point. Nobody shot straight off the break.
Carnage choosing a slightly more conservative breakout after losing 2 players quickly from their previous point.
This is Brennan, who gets shot early in the game.
That's Montgomery again moving up to the upright can on the 75 as Carnage lose 2 players. That's McKeever moving up to the 50.
This is Fox here. He's on the tape side making a move up to that 75 can on the tape side. But he gets shot there, yes. That's him gone as well. It's now 5-on-2. But Escarmouche loses a player as well.
Carnage now down to 2 players, O'Dwyer and Lawler.
Yes, Escarmouche have moved up to those key 50 bunkers. They're in great field position here.
As Lawler gets shot and takes a walk from the field, and we see the final bunkering move. And there goes O'Dwyer from the back centre. Escarmouche finishing off another point at breakneck speed.
Yes, that was a great bunker move to finish off the point there. He knew he was looking at the right side of his bunker. His teammate had said that to him, and then he runs up, shoots the last guy. Nice and easy.
Good communication there by Escarmouche.
Yeah, that was a great point. Good to see. They only lost 1 player. They're just heading up to hang the flag now. Hopefully it'll be clean. So if that is the case, it'll be 2-0 to Escarmouche. Carnage really need to win this 3rd point if they want to stay in the game. And it's game on.
Both teams choosing to double up the back centre.
Yes, playing conservative breaks. They both know that this point could swing the game either way.
As we see Shields for Escarmouche breaking out to the back right tombstone. He makes it there safely, but Donnelly appears to be having marker trouble.
Yes, that's always the worst thing that can happen to a player. Oh, we do see the back centre of Escarmouche leaving the field. That's
Patterson leaving the field. And here we see Brennan and O'Dwyer for Carnage up the 75 tombstones, and Montgomery breaking out to the 75 upright.
Looks like he thinks he may have been hit there. He's just having the ref check him, but the ref seems to think he's clean. It's now 5-on-4 with Carnage having the slight advantage. Both teams playing fairly conservatively.
Yes, they're just waiting to Carnage waiting to eliminate that extra player, giving them the 5-on-3 advantage before they move up the field.
And it looks like Montgomery leaving the field, so that is the 5-on-2, and you see them breaking out. They've now broken out from that back center bunker while Fox is also moving up the field. There he goes, moving up the field there.
That's Shields for Escarmouche in the back right tombstone. Escarmouche now with only 3 players remaining.
This is Brennan here, reloading, having a quick look around. Thinks he may have shot somebody.
Asking for a paint check from the ref. And he has. That's Donnelly leaving the field.
Yes, it's now 5-on-3. Or 2, actually, 5-on-2.
5-on-1 as you say that. And it's only Macaulay left in the back left tombstone.
He's going to be under a lot of pressure here. We see O'Dwyer moving up the field. Looks like Carnage may have lost another player as well. That's Fox who's been shot.
Yes, that's Fox leaving the Dorito there just at the top of the screen. As we see O'Dwyer and Brennan moving up to pinch Macaulay.
Yes, they're going for that bunker move there. It looks like Brennan and Macaulay traded out, leaving Carnage with the all-important win to put them back in this game. Here's O'Dwyer running back with the flag. It was a great point by Carnage. They really managed to come back. It's so often so hard to come back after losing 2 strong points and to turn the tables and put a really strong point together. Ref's just checking to make sure he's clean. Looks like they're happy enough that he is. So that's 2-1.
Game on.
Carnage now have the opportunity to draw this game if they win this point. Both teams lining up here. And it's game on.
Again, both teams choosing to double up the back centre, though that's Brennan taking an early walk from the field. He seems to be having difficulty making those primary bunkers alive.
Yeah, he's getting shot out off the break early quite often today. This is Donnelly from Eskermouche here.
Carnage still with the centre doubled up, though as I say that, Mulhall takes a walk from the field, and that's Montgomery of Eskermouche leaving as Carnage lose another player, O'Dwyer.
Yeah, it's now 4-on-2 as Power leaves the field as well. He's shot. It's now 4-on-1. Eskermouche with a huge advantage here. They're going to look to run up the field and shoot. Oh, and there goes Fox as well. It's the last Carnage player. Eskermouche really doing well there. They shot all 5 players in very, very short time. It was an extremely quick point.
Yes, they've now left Carnage with less than half a minute in this first half to try and get a point back, and that's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, for them.
Yeah, they're really looking to the second half at the moment, Carnage, to bring this game back. They don't have much time in this first half. Assuming that there's a clean call here, it's now going to be 3-1 to Eskermouche. That's
Shields of Eskermouche being checked. He seems to be all right.
Yeah, refs seem reasonably happy, just checking the rest of the players as well.
Donnelly getting a check as well.
There's the thumbs up.
With less than half a minute left in the first half, there's unlikely to be a score from this point.
And it's game on. Carnage tripling up the back centre, which is very unusual.
As Eskermouche sent a player straight to the 50, and he's made it into Carnage's half of the field, still alive.
There's both teams 5 alive at this stage, although he looks like he was just shot there. Yes, that's both teams lose a player.
So Dwyer from Carnage taking a walk from the field, and that's the end of the first half, 3-1 to Eskermouche.
It's going to be very difficult for Carnage to come back in this second half as they have a 2-point deficit to Eskermouche.
That's Eskermouche lining up at the start gate. Both teams lots of barrels touching the start gate before the game begins.
And that's game on. Both teams spreading the field here. Although Lawler shot out early in the game, shot off the break. That's their back left of Carnage.
Carnage man down off the break. That's a tough start for them to this point. Though as I say that, that's Patterson from Eskermouche walking out from the back centre. Both teams with 4 men left.
Yes, this is Donnelly here for Eskermouche. Although now Mulhall from the back centre of Carnage shot out as well. Both back centres gone at this point.
Eskermouche with a 1-man advantage, 4 men to 3. And that's Montgomery making a move up the field.
He's now changed into a blue dye jersey. As we see the ref checking O'Dwyer for paint. I think O'Dwyer's clean though.
Eskermouche quite static at this point, perhaps waiting to eliminate another Carnage player before they begin to advance up the field.
Yes, both teams playing this point very, very, very closely. Nobody wants to lose this point. It is a key swing point, because if Eskermouche win this, it's pretty much over for Carnage. The ref coming in to check O'Dwyer. It looks like it has been shot this time. Right in the pack there.
Eskermouche now the 2-man advantage. Only Brennan and Power left for Carnage on the tape side of the field. So Eskermouche will be moving up the snake as we see Macaulay coming in here, dueling with Brennan.
Yes, once you've lost all your players on one side of the field, the other team will usually look to come and try to take advantage of that, run up that side of the field to shoot the last 2 players, which is what we see is happening here. And there goes Brennan.
Power now left on his own against the 4 remaining Eskermouche players as they now advance up the field, trying to pinch him.
Yes, it's going to be very, very difficult for Power. Anything he can do here is going to be good, but it's unlikely that he'll be able to hold 4 Eskermouche players off.
Power quickly switching hands, trying to shoot out of both sides of the bunker and keep the Eskermouche at bay, but unfortunately he's taken a hit in the hopper, and that's Donnelly grabbing the flag and bringing it back to hang it. Eskermouche now with 4 points to Carnage's 1. In the IPL, it's a race to 5 points, so if Eskermouche win the next game, then they will win the match, regardless of the time left on the clock.
Yes, that's true. It's a measure put in place just to conserve paint shooting and the amount of paint shot, and keep the cost down for the players. Here we see Carnage lining up for what potentially could be the final point of the match. And here's Escarmouche lining up as well. And it's game on. Both teams choosing to double up the back centre off this break.
Patterson of Escarmouche in the 75 right tombstone.
Both teams seem to be 5 alive here. Nobody shot out yet. There's power here.
We see Shields of Escarmouche making his way to the 75 upright and on to the 50 Dorito. That's a very aggressive move and very well played to make it there alive. Montgomery moving up behind him in support.
Yes, that's a really key position he's managed to take early in the game, and he does shoot the back centre Mo Hall of Carnage.
Shields still there as we see Power taking a walk from the field as well. Escarmouche now with 5 men to Carnage's 2 players as we see Lawler getting shot out as well.
Yes, there's now only Brennan and Fox left. Oh, and Brennan taking a shot as well, just off camera. It's now Fox, the only player from Carnage left. Escarmouche's 5 players.
That's Patterson sliding into Snake 1. Escarmouche making their way up the field to pinch Fox.
And they shoot Fox there. He was the last player alive. That means Escarmouche now 5 alive, coming up to finish this point, which puts them 5-1, which in the IPL means that it's game over. Game to Escarmouche.
Yes, a very strong marker laid down by Escarmouche there for whoever they meet in the final, be it Reapers or Risk Factor.
Yes, just running back here. There's going to be the necessary flag check, or paint check. But look, with 5 players alive, it is likely there will be somebody left to hang the flag and finish this game for Escarmouche. And he is clean. Just checking the velocity is under the legal 300 feet per second. And that's thumbs up. Game over. Game to Escarmouche. Escarmouche will now be moving into the final, where they will play either Risk Factor or Reapers, depending on who wins that game. Carnage will play the losers of this game.
Now let's go to the pitch for a post-match interview with Alistair Montgomery of Escarmouche and David Fox and Chris Power of Carnage.
Yeah, we won against Carnage 5-1. It was 5-1, it sounds clear, so it does, but there were very tight points. They were very hard points. That's a strong team, so it is. They have a lot of talent on it.
And with Team Carnage, we're only playing about a year. Escarmouche are playing maybe 8 to 10. Team from up the north, they play a lot of European competitions. We've only played 1. Just a very hard game, a lot of good players. Felt we did okay, but it was just, again, just better players and more experience, and that's all really that lost it.
Strategy was to go out and feel around for their play. We played pretty defensive the first couple of games, sorted out their game plan, and then worked around that. We had to change our strategy twice during the game, so we had to get out, work their strategy out. Ended up we had to play very offensive to dig them out. They're a very hard team to play against, so they had to play very, very defensive.
We lost the game. We had a tactic going, but didn't work out, and unfortunately lost a lot of games in the first half. And then in the second half, David.
Second half went actually quite bad. We got a point in the first half, which went okay, and we held them for quite a few games in the first half. But in the second half, they really pulled it out and they stomped us.
Well, we just had to go work the field, take the width of it, move up pretty quickly. We had to get up very quickly up the field before they got settled into their bunkers, because they were maybe only moving once. They made their primaries and then their secondaries, and they moved once. And after that, they just shot at us. So we had to get through before they got all the lanes locked off.
I just need to practice more. I mean, we practice up in Anarchy Paintball up in Murray a lot, and we just need to practice every week, and that's all it's going to take. More time, more practice.
You have been watching Bunkered. Join us next time for the exciting match between Reapers and Risk Factor, and also for more information on the league and its players. If in the meantime you want to know more about paintball in Ireland, then log on to www.paintballer.ie.